Good morning, my dear children. In our previous class, we have discussed reasons for the loss of biodiversity under the chapter Biodiversity and the Conservation. Now today, we will discuss why should we conserve biodiversity and how should we conserve biodiversity. So first, we will discuss why should we conserve biodiversity. Why should we conserve biodiversity can be discussed under three subheadings. First one is narrowly utilitarian, then broadly utilitarian and ethical values. One by one we will discuss. The first one is what is narrowly utilitarian argument. The direct benefit that we get from the plants and animals present on earth, that is immediate effect, comes under this subheading narrowly utilitarian argument. For example, various types of foods are obtained from plants like cereals, rice, maize, wheat. Then oil is obtained from the various types of oil giving plants like coconut, mustard, sunflower, custard, etc. Then we can get various types of timber and the wood from the various types of plants which are used for the construction purposes, even that are used for making the furniture. They are used for making paper, and then the fibers like cotton, jute, that are also used for making various types of products like bag, carpet, etc. Then the wood can also be used for fire, that is okay. Now the industrial products here, that is the various types of industrial products are obtained from the plants like tannins, lubricants, dyes, resins, perfumes, all are important. So that are the industrial products obtained from the plants. Now the products of medical importance. Various types of chemical components are present in various types of plants. Say for example, neem. We know neem has antifungal, antibacterial property because in neem, azadirachtin, nimbin chemical component is present and it is used for making the drugs and the ointments which can be used for even the skin diseases, right? Now the next one, that is the turmeric. In turmeric, the chemical component present, that is the curcuminoids, and it has anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, anti-cancerous property. It is anti-carcinogenic, okay, and it is also used for killing the nematodes, that is the nematocidal. In this way, ginger for curing cough and cold, anti-nausea, okay, and the mint, that is for respiratory ailment. So in this way, various types of chemical components are obtained from various types of plants. So we should conserve. And here one thing we have to remember, that the more than 25% of the drugs which are sold in the market worldwide are derived from the plants, and 25,000 species of the plants contribute to the traditional medicines used by the native people around the world. Related to this, one important terminology we have to remember, that is bioprospecting. What is that? Bioprospecting is the exploration of natural resources for small molecules, macromolecules, biochemicals and genetic information that could be developed into commercially valuable products. That means it can be used in agricultural field, it has some pharmaceutical property, so it can be used in the pharmaceutical industry, even for making the cosmetics. That is the exploration of the diversity present in the molecular level, species level and the genetic level. So this terminology you have to remember, it is important. Now, the broadly utilitarian argument. What does it mean? Broadly utilitarian argument, that is the wider perspective. What our future generation is going to get if we conserve biodiversity. That is, the various types of ecosystem services are provided by the nature. It can be discussed it can be easily understood if we take some examples. For example, that Amazon rainforest. It is known as the lungs of the earth. Why? Because it is responsible for producing 20% of the total oxygen in the atmosphere by the process of the photosynthesis of the plants which are present in the Amazon rainforest. Because we know by the process of the photosynthesis, plants take carbon dioxide and oxygen is released, and this Amazon rainforest is therefore known as the lungs of the earth. Now the next one is the pollination, pollinating agents. Bees, humblebees, birds, these pollinating agents, when sit on the flower for collecting the nectar, they help in pollination, and we know pollination is the first step for the production of the fruits and the seeds. So it is an important economic service which is provided by the pollinating agents. Now the next one, aesthetic pleasure. When we walking through thick forest, when we early in the morning, when we walk through the road, when we observe on the two sides of the road various types of flowers are present, colorful flowers, and even we can hear the chirping of the birds, and so it gives a very good feeling. So this is very soothing, and here that actually it reduces our stress, freshens our mind. So it is very important. Broadly utilitarian argument, that is not immediate effect, but it has a long term impact on the nature. Now the next one, that is the ethical argument. Ethical argument, that is moral values. Moral values, here we have to know that is the bioethics. Earth belongs to all animals, plants, all the living organisms. Maybe some species do not have any economic value for us, but as we cannot create any organism, we don't have any right to kill them, to modify them. So it is our moral duty to take care of their well-being and also protect our nature for the future generation. That is the ethical argument. So my dear children, I hope it is clear to all of you that why should we conserve biodiversity. It has direct value and also it has indirect value. Direct value means immediate effect, benefit that we get due to the conservation of the biodiversity. Under this we have discussed productive use of values and consumptive use of values. Under indirect values we have discussed environmental service values, that is the ecosystem service value, optional values, aesthetic values, social and cultural values, and also we have discussed ethical values. Thank you, my dear children.